Determinants of Demand lecture. We're going to talk about the things that affect demand other than price. So these are the factors other than price that affect demand. Let's go back real quick and look at how changes in quantity demanded. This is an example I used before of Mountain Dew. At $1, people will buy 8 bottles. At $2, people will buy 4 bottles. So, how do the determinants of demand affect demand other than price? So, let's take a look here. They are changes in income. So if people's income actually go down and their income goes down, so let's say that maybe they get laid off or they take a lesser paying job, they will definitely demand more. If somebody gets a raise or makes a higher income, let's say they go from a job making $20 an hour to a job making $30 an hour, they would definitely demand more. We also refer to this as income effect. So if income goes up, quantity demanded goes up. If income goes down, quantity demanded goes down. And those two are related. So, changes in price of related goods. So there are two things here. So when we look at related goods, these are goods that people associate with or can substitute with another good. So let's look at substitute first. A good that can replace one another. Beef is a great thing to talk about here. Beef, although we might love steak and hamburger and all those things, if mad cow disease comes along and wipes out all the cows and there are no more cows, we can still get protein via chicken, pork, nuts, tofu. There's other avenues for us, even fish or shrimp. So there's other avenues for us to get our protein other than beef. So if the beef is wiped out or if the cost of beef goes up wildly and becomes very expensive, let's say it goes from $5 to $15 a pound, and we decide that as rational decision makers, we would much rather have chicken at $3 a pound than beef, then we must find a substitute good for that. So, substitute good merely replaces one another, usually as the price goes up. Now, a complementary good are goods that are consumed together. The perfect example of this is peanut butter and jelly. Peanut butter and jelly basically go together, right? And so when the price of peanut butter goes up, the demand for jelly probably goes down. If the price of peanut butter comes down, the demand for jelly probably goes up. So you get this inverse relationship. The other things I talk about here are cigarettes and lighters. Any party store you go into will have the cigarettes right over the actual cash register, and then right on the counter will be lighters. So those two things are tied together. The cigarette and lighters, you can't light a cigarette without a lighter, and those are goods that we consider to be consumed together. The next time that you're at the grocery store, take a look at the ice cream aisle, and I guarantee you right around there in the end cap will be the hot fudge, the caramel sauce, and the ground little delicious peanuts that you can put on your ice cream. So those are goods we consider complementary. They go together. So think of peanut butter jelly, mashed potatoes, gravy, things like that. So another thing that affects demand is a change in the size or composition of the population. What we mean by that is either the size of the population, a country shrinks or gets larger, or the age changes. Okay, so the largest group of the age group in the country changes. So if you look at the United States, we are slowly growing. We're kind of on the steady growth rate. If you look at some of the South American countries and Central American countries are growing at a much higher rate. We have a birth rate in the United States of about 1.8 children per couple, which basically we're slowly shrinking. But if you look at a country like Japan that has a growth rate of like 1.1 per 2 people, they're actually shrinking at a considerable rate, as is Sweden, some of the Scandinavian countries. So you actually get these countries that are shrinking because people aren't having children the way they used to. And then you have countries like in Asia and Africa where people are having many children, and the average birth rate is 4 for every 2 people, so the population basically keeps doubling. So if the age also goes down or goes up, the average age of the population. So let's say we have a very large group in the young population group. So let's say your age group from 15 to 25 is very large. We can expect the sale of electronics, games, basketballs, younger people clothing like shoes, certain brands would go up substantially, where things that older people would want would probably go down. So that's what we can kind of think about as either it is the size of the population or the actual age, what we call demographics or groupings. So we look at 15 to 21, 21 to 28, 29 to 35, when we group people together. And so if a certain age group, let's say older people, if we have, like in the United States right now, the baby boomers, we have a whole bunch of older people, you see a lot of like Dependents commercials and retirement insurance and nursing homes. So you'll see a lot of ads like that on TV. The next one is change in price expectations. So if we think prices are going to go up, we will probably stock up while prices are low. It was predicted recently the price of peanut butter was going to go up substantially. So I went out and bought 5 jars of peanut butter at the lower price of $2. It was predicted that peanut butter would go to $4 a jar. So I think that peanut butter is going to go up. So in the short term, or in the next couple months ago, demand will go up. Eventually it'll go down because the price is going to go up, but in that short term. So if you need gas and you hear that tomorrow gas is going to go from, let's say, $3.50 to $4.50 a gallon, you're probably going to run out, fill up your bathtub with gas also. So the last thing is changes in tastes and preferences. These are trends. The length of miniskirt, colors come in and out of vogue, neon colors, bright colors. Blue is the color one year, the next year it's red, pinks, ladies, you know what I mean? Fashion, basically. So these are things that taste and change and preferences. You can watch hairstyles come in and out. So when our tastes, our fads, all those things, trends change, we change. Also, things that now are kind of coming into vogue are, you can see the fast food restaurants changing to healthier type options. They're listing their fat and the calories for every sandwich and salad. And they're bringing in healthier things like apple slices for children instead of French fries. So we've decided as a country we want to be a little bit healthier, eat better. So they have added on these things to the menu, and things have changed in the fast food industry. Also, in the grocery store, you can see a lot lower low-fat options for things like that. Let's do some practice problems. What would happen to the demand of pizza if you find out pizza causes heart disease? So what would be the determinant, and would that increase or decrease the demand for pizza? The determinant would be a change in preference, right? We want to be healthier, we don't want heart disease, and it would actually result in a decrease in demand. So as sad as that would be, pizza is one of my favorite things on the planet. If it causes heart disease, then we have to cut that out because we want to be healthy, and that's our taste and preference, and it would decrease demand. Number 2, what would happen to the demand of Nike shoes if it's the favorite shoe of many sports celebrities? So there's a lot of celebrities out there saying, oh, Nike shoes are the best, you know, I play better because I have Nike shoes. So once again, a change in taste and preference, and that would basically probably increase the demand. So if your favorite basketball player or sports athlete is touting his shoes and saying, hey, I wear Nike Air 4s, you're probably going to want to wear those also. A new energy drink comes on the market that does not have negative side effects, like jitters and crashes. So rather than having those highs and lows, it has just kind of lets you down nicely. What would be the determinant of that? Will that increase or decrease the demand for Red Bull? So this is a new energy drink, a competition to Red Bull. Think about that for a second. So what would be the determinant of that? And then how would that affect Red Bull? Because Red Bull does have side effects. A related good, it would be a substitute good would be the reason, and it would result in a decrease in the demand for Red Bull. Student allowances and the minimum wage for work increase. So your income, basically, allowances go up, and then the minimum wage, which most of you guys would make if you work, go up. So think about that for a second. What would be the determinant, and will that increase or decrease the demand for video games? Income increases, therefore, it would result in an increased demand of video games. Now, you in particular may not play a lot of video games, but people of the younger age tend to. So it's a generalization. Movement along a demand curve versus a shift of a curve. Remember, there's a difference between quantity demanded and demand. Demand is the whole story. Quantity demanded is at a specific price, $2. Markets never stand still. There's always outside factors that change the actual price of the good or how much is demanded altogether. A change in price creates a change in the quantity demanded. So if price changes, QD changes. This causes movement along the demand curve, that shift. A change in one of the determinants of demand causes a change in demand. This causes a shift of the demand curve or a new curve. So let's take a look. What determinants would increase the market demand for pizza? So what of those determinant lists, what do you think would actually cause an increase in the demand for pizza? Increase in population or income, increase in population, increase in the price of substitute goods, complementary goods, consumer expectations that price will increase in the future, improvement in taste, increased consumer preferences. So let's say pizzas taste better. The determinants of the increased demand change the story. How so? So here's your original story, and here's the new story. So quantity demanded before, right? So at a price of $15, people demanded, and this is in millions, 9 million pizzas a week. At 12, 14, at 9, you can see that it goes up as it gets cheaper. Now, the new story is the pizza tastes better, right? So at $15, people are willing to buy 15 million, so it actually increases. So let's take a look at what that looks like on a graph. How would determinants of demand increase demand, change the picture of demand? So let's take a look here. There's the graph. Okay, the original. Okay, there's D1, there's demand 1. This is the original D line, so this is the old story. And this would be the increased market for demand pizza. So this is what the new line looks like. So the original line went through here, and this is the shift because more people are buying pizza. So we go from D1, demand down 1, the original story, to D2 is the new story. So this is a shift, not in quantity demanded, but the whole line, the whole curve shifts. There you can see where we were talking about a common price of, let's see, $10. We were selling this many at the original, now we're selling this many. This is the growth in the pizza right here. Here's the shifts. You draw these shifts in to show that the line has moved. What determinants would cause a decrease in the demand for pizza? Same thing, down the line. Decrease in income, decrease in population, decrease in price of substitute goods, so people are eating Hot Pockets instead, an increase in the price of complementary goods, paper plates, everybody likes pop with pizza, right? If that goes up, that's going to hurt it. Consumer expectations that pizza is going to get cheaper in the future. People just don't like pizza anymore. They get tired of it. So here's the original story. So once again, $15, $9 million, $12, $14. What about the new story? Price of pizza, 15 to 5. So you see that? It's almost like a 50% drop off there. Okay, it fell by 50%. So we can see that people are buying at 12. Now they're buying 10 million instead of 14 million. You can see the decrease. So let's see how that looks on here. Okay, here's our graph. Price of pizza, millions of pizza per week. Okay, there's D1, right? There's our original graph. And here's your decrease. So the shift to the left is actually the decrease. So the demand went down. So the graph can either shift to the right, which would mean an increase in demand, or to the left, which would mean a decrease in demand.